Hey, good morning, everybody. So let's open up with the morning analysis of Bitcoin. Then we'll dive into altcoins and then some of the happenings that we've had over the past several days, especially last week with the big blow up. So first things first, I think it's important to discuss where we are in context of BTC, especially the daily. What we've had effectively is a huge head and shoulders pattern play itself out to the downside, right? And basically, I mean, on most exchanges, we swept everything all the way down to this date right here, around 22nd of January. So effectively, from this point onward, okay, so if we mark this out as the first day of the year, right? That point onward, price had come to a point where we basically had put almost everybody from the beginning of the year till this point right here. We had pressured them into selling their position because at that point they would have been either break even, or if you bought, here or here, definitely up here, you would have been in the negative as prices had rolled all the way down to these levels. And even at these levels, one could make the argument that almost everyone over the past, from February onward, this whole area, almost everyone is underwater. So what do we do with that? And how does that help us over the next several days or several weeks? Well, I think the first thing to recognize is after such a big sell-off, you don't want to quickly just call it the end and say this has to be the beginning of a bear market or anything as such. But at the same time, it's also hard to make the argument right now that with such a wide sell-off, we have to recover and we have to go straight up. Okay. But I will say that there are higher probabilities of, after the sell-off, in the middle of the kind of economic environment that we're in, and by the way, I've discussed those talking points about why the macro picture is still pretty good for Bitcoin, for most of crypto. And it's because of these checkpoints right here. You can find this on my Twitter feed, okay, at _alpha trades. And you'll see why these economic factors are beneficial for Bitcoin. So the first thing I'll say is, aside from those economic factors, right, what we have effectively is we've had, since last March, the Black Swan event, we've had almost a 20x run up in price, right? If we go from the low right here to the high, right, almost a 20x run up. Okay, that's pretty huge, right? So what do we make of that? Well, we say, okay, all right, we've had that run up. Now, do we go into a longer consolidation or a bear market because we've gone up so fast? Maybe. And honestly, it wouldn't be so bad, right? Because we have so much speculation. We have so much leverage in the system, so many new entrants in the system who just believe that we have to keep going straight up. And the best way to weed them out is, first thing, you definitely want to cause almost a heart attack on most people by having such a wide sell-off. Crypto or Bitcoin rather, went from a high to a low of almost 56%. Currently, it's still down almost 40%. Historically, Bitcoin has actually never done that in its previous bull runs. Okay, and a couple of ways to look at that is, this is a 200 moving average. On a daily basis in 2017, this bull run, we never broke below the 200 MA until we finally broke it. And then that caused a sideways bear market for like 6 to 9 months. Okay. So at least from this point, from March up until we had this huge sell-off till December, that was, almost a good 9 months of selling that we had. And most of altcoins are pretty much dead or dying. And then we finally had a relief rally. Then again, we went sideways for like almost a year and a half. And then we finally broke out. after the Black Swan event, right? So where we are right now is a very unique inflection point because we broke below the 200 moving average, currently just rejecting it right now, right? Something that, again, historically, we've not done in bull markets. But one can make the argument that, hey, we're in a unique time where there is super low interest rates. The Fed in the US keeps printing money. Money has to go find yield somewhere. And crypto is one of the most disruptive, innovative, useful technologies there is, right? And that's fair. But does that mean that the markets have to reward the excess speculation and the excess valuations that these crypto projects had? No, they don't. And I think the last week was just a perfect example that the market brought everything back down to earth, right? So for example, if we look at something simple as Ethereum, which out of all the garbage that's out there in crypto, Ethereum is at least probably one of the most legit altcoins, if not the most legit altcoin, right? So from the high to the low, even Ethereum got sold off 60%. The last time Ethereum saw such a sharp sell-off, that began the bear market in 2018. Okay, so who's to say that when we look at a chart like this, and by the way, this is a log chart. So on a log chart, you can't really see the parabola as easily. But if you do this, what does that look like? That looks like a blow off top, right? That looks like a clear blow off top and then boom, breakdown. See, log charts don't help us quite see the magnitude at which prices move because the scales adjust, okay? But that's okay because crypto does move at such a high, rapid percentage, up and down. So I understand that. But it's important to recognize that some of these altcoins have had tremendous movements in the market. Ethereum, from this Black Swan event low down here, if we count it, I think it was up almost 40x or something from the lows, right? That's huge. Okay, even at present moment, it's still up almost 29, 30x, right? That's a lot, okay? So when you count stuff like that in and you start to recognize that, well, the market did actually put in huge moves. And then at the same time, people kept talking about, well, when are we going to get alt season? Well, dude, you missed it. I mean, it was the entire last year, right? But the question is not that, did the alt season already happen? The question is, will there be a continuation to this kind of accelerated movement and further upside? Now, I'll tell you one thing, okay? In BTC, we haven't really done anything phenomenal to warrant that we have to start calling, the bear market, and we have to put a end to the bull talk or anything, because what we've really done is we came back to previous consolidation, although we did come in at the low of the range and sweep everybody, which is really not a good look. I mean, whether you look at it from a Bitcoin standpoint or I don't know, like a stock market standpoint, generally when you have such a big flush down and you go back to the bottom of the previous range like that, not a good sign, okay? But I will say that aside, from the macroeconomic conditions, which are still very, very healthy and very bullish, I've never seen in Bitcoin a top being put in like this. This doesn't really look like a top to me. Now, it's possible that we have put in a temporary top, meaning not the same kind of top that we had in 2017 right here, where we go sideways and down for like a year or two. What we might have is a, middle of the road inflection point where valuations are brought down, right? Development catches up with valuations, and then we start our next leg of the market. So what that means is, as we have broken down from this area, we come down, maybe pull up right to the bottom of this range right here where we broke down from, come up here, reject some more, consolidate longer in a large range down here like this for the next several months, and then break out later this year, maybe early next year. That would put an end to a lot of things. Number one, it would put a lot of people underwater for a significant amount of time. It would be very hard to hold on to levered positions, if any at all, if you keep dragging price down further and further. All the hype, the speculation, the euphoria, I'm fairly certain that if you drag this market out sideways, even in a range for like a month, a lot of that will die. On top of that, the massive sell-off that we've had in Ethereum and altcoins, right? We basically dropped 60% in a span of, I don't know, maybe 10 days. We did a 60% drop in 10 days, what Ethereum did in 2018 and 19 over the span of months, right? And that goes for most other altcoins too. Okay. So this kind of accelerated drop tells me that, first of all, this might be, a middle of the road consolidation that we might be building at large. Okay. And that doesn't mean that we have to start reining in the bear market. It just means that now we need enough time and space away from this high where all the speculation was building up here. And you spend time much lower at 50, 60, 70% discounts down here for several months. And this might bring in, more of a base, more capital, less people from, Twitter always talk about up only or, TikTokers or whatever. And that might usher in the next huge bull market. Could be later this year, could be a couple of months from now, or it could be next year. I don't know, right? But the best thing that I'm going to do is, well, first of all, I already did this a couple of weeks ago, is I started shedding my altcoin positions. Okay, because altcoins are already rapidly blowing up. And now that they went to the upside and now they're down across the board, 40, 50%, like Ethereum from the high to the low is now down 36%. SUSHI, okay, so let's just say from this high to where we are is down 43%. THETA, all right, from the high to where we are, down 29%. At one point, it was down 58%, right? So the point is, most altcoins that you look at, okay, any of these right here, they're down quite a bit from their highs. Now, you could look at this two ways. You could say, well, okay, they're down quite a bit, and I see them as a buying opportunity because I believe that, I don't know, a month from now or a couple months from now, you believe that they have to go up higher. Now, in that case, this is a fantastic discount. And in that case, yes, you can consider buying, right? Do your own due diligence, of course. But I would actually, pause it and say that, well, what if we don't really know how the next few months are going to unfold, right? What if 2021 unfolds even in half the same way that 2018-19 did? Well, that means maybe another, I don't know, 20, 30, 40% drop for altcoins, even from where you are. That might mean for altcoins, it might be a double bottom, right? Who knows? Or it might be that this might be the beginning of the sell-off. You get an A wave. Whoops. You get an A wave, B, and then C for the larger correction, right? So all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to say that it's very hard right now to just be directionally biased, whether it's from the bull or bear. Like I said, I think it's a bit premature to assume that we have to be in a significant corrective market, but it's also in the same manner a bit premature to assume that after a 50, 60% drop like this, it's very hard to say that from here, we'll just go like this and just, kind of take off. right? Very, very rarely, if ever, has crypto done that after such a wide sell-off. And not just crypto. I mean, if you look across the board and just basic, technical terms, this is just a blow up in the market. The other thing is, if you actually just look at the market cap, okay? So let's take a look at market cap, right? 30 days ago, or less than 30 days ago, actually, the market cap was at $2.5 trillion, the highest it ever was, okay? Then it got blown up last week, somewhere around, I don't know, 1.6, 1.4 trillion down here, right? Now it's back up to 1.7, 1.8 trillion, as you can see. Another good way to look at that is total two, right? The market cap. The overall crypto market cap from its high to where we are right now is down 34%. At one point, it was down 58%. So if it's down 34% right now, 34% of the overall value of crypto has just completely been wiped in a span of 10 days. So where do we get more of the money to push some of these projects? Well, I think a better way to look at it is you don't need to look at this current state of the market in the same way that we did 2 weeks ago. If this market is truly mature, what it will do is it will rotate money from, say, garbage altcoins into good altcoins. Like, for example, I'm not a hater on Bcash, but if Bcash is valued at 14 billion, if you take a bunch of that, market cap away and you put it into, say, something like Uniswap or Ethereum or Binance Coin or any of these other altcoins that are good, like Aave, that is the kind of rotation that you want to see of money being moved from crap into good stuff. So I'm kind of paying attention to things like that to see if it'll happen. So far, it hasn't. So far, actually, what happened was the entire market cap got blown out. Everything is pretty much down 40, 50% across the board, right? Some altcoins are down a little bit more. Some altcoins are down a little bit less from the all-time highs now. But nonetheless, they're still pretty close, right? So in my view, the altcoin game is going to be really, really tough for the next few weeks. If you're investing in altcoins and you were able to suffer this 50 or 60% drop and you don't really want to sell this rebound, well, the way I see it is, even if this thing goes down further and further, most people aren't going to sell. And this will be basically what happened in 2018-19, where people kind of rode these pretty much to negative 70, 80, 90% drawdowns. Do I think it's going to happen the same way? Again, I don't know, right? But the point is, if most people were able to ride this down and not sell this on the way up because you keep believing that you have to get in the new bull market, well, that means you're probably going to be comfortable with holding these things down. And by the way, if you are comfortable with that, kudos, right? Always respect your own due diligence and your thesis, because the worst thing you can do is listen to anyone to tell you that we're overvalued, or this altcoin is not worth this much, or this new hot altcoin is coming up, and then you switch over, right? And then you listen to other people. If you believe that you have to be in a bull market for the next few months, then so be it, right? Stick to your guns, okay? I'm just kind of here to show you the different nuances in the view, just so you get a more complete picture, and that may help your decision making, whatever that decision may be, okay? So the point is, the altcoin picture right now is not really clear where we have to just, turbo mode up. I believe the most overlooked picture is probably Bitcoin. One reason for Bitcoin is, well, first of all, it saw an aggressive sell-off. Number two, it's left behind some key areas of squeezes in the market that we can really, really target quite easily. Okay, so the squeezes make a pretty good risk reward trade, because also, Bitcoin doesn't move negative 20, 30% in a span of hours or days, like most of these other altcoins do, right? So the relative risk of hanging on to Bitcoin right now is lower. On top of that, the other things that are happening in the market, something as simple as the ESG talk, which is people like Kevin O'Leary who are trying to prove that, hey, the whole idea that China has all this mining power, or China has dirty energy that they mine Bitcoin with, right? That is kind of destroying the earth, and we want, cleaner energy. And you can see people like Michael Saylor and Elon Musk are into that same band, that same group where they're talking about clean energy. Okay. So with that clean energy conversation, right, brings in a new narrative for Bitcoin. And the narrative is that if we can move away the mining operations from China, and China doesn't have control over that, and we have cleaner energy used to mine Bitcoin, well, hey, I'm all for it, right? So more astute and I guess moral investors in terms of the energy conversation, they might be on board. Okay. Another reason to buy Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin has many reasons already due to its inherent qualities, right? But now you have two more reasons. Miners moving away from China, decentralizing that miner power, and cleaner energy. So that narrative is something I believe that will probably fuel Bitcoin at some point. I don't know how long it'll be, but for now, I'm positioned in Bitcoin. Okay. Now, Ethereum and altcoins, they also look good, but I believe that for now, they're probably good from a level to level basis, right? There's probably trades in here that you could look at and take, and you can say, okay, well, this was a nice retest. So if I have my stop right here, my next target could be in this block right here, right? So a long position up until this area. That could be around 31.75 to $3,400. That could be your long position. Okay. Even something as good as Matic, right? Matic has been holding up very, very well, and I'm pretty impressed with Matic. I held on to Matic for a little while. I let go of my position on the rebound back up. I sadly missed my re-entry right here, but I'm sure I'll get it at another point, right? And I'm a huge fan of Matic because I really believe that these L2 scaling solutions are going to be important for the next several months or several years for Ethereum and other altcoins, right? So Matic is one of those solutions that'll be incredibly helpful, in my opinion. Okay. So at some point, I'm definitely keeping an eye on Matic, right? The other altcoins I'm paying attention to, things like SUSHI, which again, look like they're starting to want to bounce up and trend up, but they still got a lot of damage to fix after that huge sell-off we had, right? Solana, same thing. Big fan of Solana ecosystem. Okay. These could be, once in a lifetime buying opportunities, or we also don't know if we're just going to go into a longer drawn out bear market, right? FLM, another one you want to pay attention to. Okay. So a lot of altcoins that look primed, maybe for a rebound, maybe for a push up, definitely something y'all should be looking into, right? If you really believe in this. And I believe, if you've noticed one thing over this, period of me doing this video, is that I'm mostly focused on these DeFi blue chips, because I believe that the next big move is probably going to be within DeFi again, because that's where really a lot of the yield is. A lot of the productive assets are, a lot of really, really good building that's happening in crypto is happening within DeFi. So I'm focusing my attention to DeFi with the altcoins I just spoke about. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it. Just want to give y'all just an overall, view of where I am in the market, what my thoughts are. You can always go to our website. The link is below in the YouTube description. You can always go to our website, sign up for our Advantage membership. So go check it out right here, thealphatrades.com. Right? You can hit the products page, Okay. And you can buy our Advantage subscription right here for $97 per month. And that gives you access to all these channels right here. Okay. All these channels that you see, the locked channels, see these little locks, that's all the stuff that you get access to. And we have a ton of content. Every single day, I make 2 videos a day for my Advantage members. So the video you're seeing right now is one of the videos that you'll see, right? But then the Advantage members get one in the evening, updating on the happenings of the market. And then, of course, on top of that, I put out, Bitcoin analysis all through the day, all right? Exactly what I'm seeing in the market, what I'm taking a position in, all that kind of jazz. All right. So that's it. Hit the thumbs up, folks, if y'all like the video. All right. Take care. And yeah, make sure you follow me on Twitter because I put out a ton of really good analysis on Twitter. Sometimes I put out, free trade setups that I'm spotting. Again, they're not financial advice, just things that I'm recognizing in the market. So these things might be very useful for you to utilize for your own information analysis gathering. All right, take care, everybody. Cheers and hit the thumbs up.